Blackhawks fans starting to pour into the United Center as Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final approaches. It's coming up at 8 Eastern on NBC. Welcome back to NHL Live. In the first 3 games of this series, just 12 total goals were scored. And then Game 4 happened. The goals and excitement just kept on coming.
They keep coming. They're a hard-working team.
I think everybody knew it was going to be a tight series.
Left out for Peverly. He scored! And a Roosevelt shot. He scored! It is 2-1. It's Kane. He and Taves have broken out here. Score! Lucci! Rebound score! Charge shot. Came down on top of the net.
Battled back, and we got ourselves back in the game and gave ourselves a chance to win.
Bergeron score! Sharp! And it's 5-4. Boychuk fires, score!
We let them bounce back too quickly, and when we get that momentum, we got to hold on to it a little bit longer. Tonight was one of those games that we treated as a Game 7, and we weren't going to be denied.
A wacky overtime winning goal.
There's a lot of our game tonight that was just average, and average isn't good enough at this stage of the season.
The series is even.
So 3 of the first 4 games have gone to overtime. We've already had 75 minutes and 47 seconds of overtime played. That's the second most all-time of any Stanley Cup Final series. Only the 1931 series between Montreal and Chicago had more. 12 goals combined in the first 3 games, 11 in Game 4 alone. For more on tonight's Game 5, here are the guys who'll call it on NBC, Doc Emmerich and Eddie Olczyk.
Eddie, before Game 1 here, you mentioned that the most important area for Game 1 was the area between the blue lines, the center ice area for Boston. Still feel that way?
Oh, I do, Doug. I think it's going to end up deciding who wins the Stanley Cup. And if you go back to Game 4, the Blackhawks won the area in between the blue line and neutral zone, as you talk about, and it's the speed zone. The Blackhawks want to play a fast-paced, trade-your-chances type of game, and that's the way that the game happened to be back in Boston in Game 4. Sometimes as a player in a team, Doc, you can't get off the railroad track. Sometimes it's just up and down, and that's the way it goes. That's not the strength of the Boston Bruins over the long haul. They could play that way. We've seen it. They were in that game. It went to overtime. But the Bruins want to be able to manage the puck, slow down the Blackhawks in the middle of the ice, and make it a station. So from the defensive zone to the neutral zone to the offensive zone, whoever wins that battle between the blue lines is going to win the Stanley Cup.
One other quick one. Much is being said in Boston about the glove side of Corey Crawford. Are you tired of that? But tell me what you think of it.
You know what, Doc? I believe it's almost like in baseball, where if you keep getting a certain batter out on a curveball, whether he strikes himself out or he keeps hitting it to the right side, until he proves he can hit that curveball, you're going to go there. Now, a lot of the times players are just putting their head down and firing it towards the net. I think it's pretty amusing because nationally, and I know here in Chicago, is that the winning goaltender got more scrutinized than the losing goaltender. But when all 5 goals go past the goaltender's glove, certainly there's a cause of concern. But Corey Crawford's never been a great catcher with his glove. He's always been a guy to knock the puck down and swat it away. We'll see if the Bruins keep going there. Until he stops one on the glove side, if I'm the Bruins, I'm keeping shooting on that glove side.
Staying with baseball, we know Big Papi is a hockey fan, and so also the White Sox announcers in their telecast today said they're glad it's an afternoon game so they can get back to the hotel and watch this.
I'll follow that, talking baseball. Game 4 was kind of like an 0-for-5 night at the plate for both of these goaltenders, Tuukka Rask and Corey Crawford. So stellar through Game 3. Game 4 really put a dent into their goals allowed and save percentage for this series. Tuukka Rask, by the way, he allowed 4 more goals 5 times in the postseason. He's 4-0 following those games. But Crawford's glove It's all anyone wants to talk about. And why not? 10 of the 12 goals the Bruins have scored against him have gone on that glove side. He says it's not an issue. You buying that?
I'm not buying it. Inside his head, it's not an issue, and you're not really thinking about it. Players don't typically think about their own shortcomings, but as the media goes in the dressing room every single day and asks him, so, Corey, what about your glove? So, Corey, what about your glove? So, Corey, what about your glove? You know, you just want to strangle someone, because then you start thinking about it. I mean, these are goals that Corey doesn't really have a chance on. His glove is low, it's slow, he's slow to react, he's grasping the puck as opposed to trying to catch the puck, and he's got to... The key for him is not to really overcompensate. The thing I want to watch tonight is make sure that he's not leaning from one side to the other, trying to overcompensate for that slow glove that he has right now, because the Boston Bruins players will pick him apart either 5-hole or low blocker side.
And as Doc and Edzo mentioned, he's the guy who won the game in Game 4. Let's talk about the other goaltender, JR. Before Game 4, we were talking about Tuukka Rask as a Conn Smythe candidate. How does 6 goals allowed in Game 4 change that narrative?
It definitely hurts his possibilities in a big way, but still a win will still be a Stanley Cup win. And I just think that Tuukka Rask is one of the strongest goaltenders between the ears. He's so confident. He's such a grinder. And I know that for the last 2 days, he has been stewing over giving up 6 goals to the Chicago Blackhawks. But if you watch the way the goals have been scored on him, it's traffic in front. It's creating a lot of havoc in his crease, bumping him around, not making him feel comfortable. The Chicago Blackhawks have to do that again. Jonathan Toews has got to get in front of that net. Bickle's got to get in front of that net. They have to make sure that Tuukka Rask remembers why they got 6 goals in Game 4 and try to repeat it here in Game 5.
JR's in Chicago. Bruins defenseman Johnny Boychuk's there as well, putting the finishing touches on some of his tools of the trade prior to tonight's Game 5. Up next, we'll hear from Game 4 hero Brent Seabrook, back with his story when our coverage of the Stanley Cup Final continues.